This conference will now be recorded.
In the previous session, we talked about the auto-scaling group and along with that, the load balancer. So how both of these resources works in hand to hand to fulfill the requirement of accessing the application and when the load get increased, so the scalability. So both of these things will be taken care by this the tools that we discussed, the resources, and that's what we discussed yesterday. And we have created the application load balancer, and behind the scene we have placed the EC2 machines created by the ASG. So that's what we did there. Now it's time to understand about one more service here, which is S3 bucket. Okay, so let's talk about it. So S3 bucket is like, what is meant by S3 buckets? Okay, first of all, let's just talk about that, and then further we will talk about the demo thing. Okay, so I already have one document created on GitHub. You guys should get that one on the GitHub. So if I go and check the github.com, so there we have this docs. Now under the docs, here you can check that we have the AWS S3 service. Okay, like under this particular PDF, you should get all of this document. So I'll just download it. Here we have it. Now inside that we should find the, you can just go through this all of the theory, okay, that whatever we just discussed. We're looking for S31. Yeah, here we go. So whichever the service we have discussed so far, you should be able to get the theory part here in this particular document. Okay, so if you are looking for to have a theory understanding, you may go and check about that. So let's understand S3. So we are discussing the S3 today. Now S3 has a full form as a simple storage service. Okay, that you're trying to store something. So in such case, S3 is the something service you can use. And this particular service, okay, S3 service allows user to store and retrieve data from anywhere on the web. So that now that's something the biggest advantage we get. Okay, till the time we have learned one more service, which is a EVS volume. Okay, now EVS volume is like your SSD or HDD, but you cannot access that directly. Okay, like here you have one EC2 server, and to this EC2 server we need to attach this EVS volume, and then only we can access the things. Like if you have something inside this EVS volume, you cannot go directly and have that thing. Okay, let's say you have some PDF and you just want to transfer it to some other machine. You cannot do it directly. You need to attach, or you need to mount that particular machine to one of the EC2 machine, and then further you can take the that whichever the PDF which you're talking about, you can take it to wherever you want. Okay, so you need to log into system, and then only you can do it. So here you require a VM to be attached. That's a virtual machine to be attached in this case. On the other side, when we talked about the S3 bucket, so S3 bucket works independently in terms of storing the things. Okay, so you can store the things directly here inside a bucket. You can retrieve the things directly on the internet also. So if you wish to, okay, you can retrieve it. So that's something biggest difference we have between the traditional storage system and the S3 bucket. Okay, so S3 is mainly made purely to store with the simplest way, and that's it. That is the main highlight of the S3 bucket is. And this particular service is, one of the most popular service that AWS is offering. Okay, then S3 allows user to store and retrieve data from anywhere on the web making it popular choice for hosting static websites, storing data backups, and more. Okay, so that's something also one thing you can do it with the S3 bucket, and today I will show you how to do that. So that's another functionality that S3 is providing you, that you can store the website on the S3 bucket and you can access it. Now, this is something the really amazing solution that AWS is providing, because here without having a server, okay, without having a server, you can deploy your static code with the help of S3 bucket. And how it is beneficial. So that's something in terms of costing. Okay, in terms of costing, this is going to be the effective one. And along with that, here that's really easy to handle things. So you just have to place the things and you will be able to handle. But only thing is that you cannot have the complex website or dynamic website here. Okay, just a static website you can deploy here. Means that the website which don't have like a lot of other things to communicate with. Okay, it could be a simplest uh, the simplest website which is showing some data, informing, like giving some information about anything. Okay, such kind of websites you can deploy here. Then S3 provides a highly durable and available storage infrastructure, ensuring data is always accessible. So behind the scene, AWS is going to replicate that particular data in multiple AGs, so that if something goes wrong, so you always have that availability. Okay, for one AG is down. Okay, so other AG will come to the picture. So like that, AWS keep its data in sync, and you have a surety that you can keep the data here on the S3 bucket. Now S3 stores the data as an object. Okay, so there are different ways to store your data inside your storage systems. One storage system we have learned, that is the EBS volume. Okay, now in EBS volume, what happened is that we store the data in a blocks format. Okay, so it is the elastic block storage. So we have blocks of storage. So like one block will get filled, and after the second one, like that, we just fill the data, and that's a traditional way to store your data. In S3, we say that we are storing the data as an object. Okay, it's like we're just dumping the things inside a storage system. So here we don't have any indexing or anything. Okay, just or in fact we don't have even the folder system also inside the S3 bucket. Okay, it is like you can just imagine that we just want to store a PDF. We are going to store we are going to store anything else. Okay, we'll be simply storing. So the way we create here the folder system and everything. Okay, so that is not valid here. Okay, but still you can store the things with something called as a key. Okay, so you can provide some key, and after that you can store your file. So it looks like a folder. Okay, it looks like a folder, but that's not really a folder. So your this is just your uh, what I can say, the key is. Okay, so that is what the terminology they use. So you can create some key. Let's say just assume that uh, you wish to store any folder under directory 1 and directory 2. Okay, so here you would like to store file 1, here you would like to store file 2. So folder system doesn't exist here, right? So what you do is you are going to store the things, or you are going to, while storing the things, okay, you can give the file name as like this way, that is the dir1 slash file 1. So that is a key. Okay, it gives us the feeling that we are working inside a folder. Like then you go inside a dir1, then file 1. So that's how it is. But folder system doesn't work here. And that's how the object storage works. That just is you just dump the data directly. The next thing you have here, which is S3 buckets, are primary means of storing and organized data in S3. Each bucket have a unique name. Okay, now that's something important thing to know, you guys, that wherever you create a bucket, so it is having the globally unique name. Okay, it's not about in your account. Okay, it is about globally. So let's say you wish to create the bucket name with the demo bucket. Probably that name must have taken by someone else. Okay, so you need to identify some name, unique name. Okay, and with that unique name, you create your bucket because you access the bucket sometimes globally with that bucket name itself. Okay, so that's the reason here you need to keep your bucket name globally unique. Then S3 allows users to define lifecycle policy. Now that's something, the advanced thing we can do it with the S3 bucket. So from one stage to other stage, okay, storage classes, we can move the object based on their age and the access pattern. Okay, so what is the meaning of this line? So you have one facility called as lifecycle policy. Okay, now what that lifecycle policy offers? Basically, let's say you are handling your S3 bucket objects with this lifecycle policy. So in such case, there's something, the object that you people are not using a lot, okay? Or there's something, the object we have never accessed, but it is just like in a pin, we have just like kept it in the storage, okay? Now in such case, so normal storage, S3 bucket storage system is going to charge you a lot, okay? Like the object which you use frequently, and uh, that you just keep again and again and using that any of the object. So such object you can they are going to keep in a separate storage class where charges are high. Okay, and but you get the accessibility as soon as you want. Okay, let's say you wish to access any object, you will be able to access. Okay, so that's something we will discuss here, the storage classes ahead. Okay, the storage types. Okay, in down we have that, we have to discuss that. And AWS S3 integrates with the other services also. That's one highlight we have here, AWS Lambda, CloudTrail, or any other services. Then S3 provides you pay as you go pricing model, means that whatever the storage you will be storing, okay, for that amount of storage you are using, okay, that much of pricing you have to pay. And also data transfer fees also applied there. So let's say you have stored something, and you're keep downloading that file, so that's what the data transfer, right? So upload, download, so there also there is one separate charges we have for that, but that's a really negligible one when we have so many users to access one file from the S3 bucket. In that case, this transfer fee could be a bigger one, but in a normal way, the transfer fee is really negligible. Okay, so that's how the S3 bucket works. Okay, so pay as you go pricing model means that as you're putting the object inside in the S3 bucket, okay, that's how your S3 bucket will grow. So you don't have to think about that how much storage you will require at any time. Okay, like let's say your need could be the 100 GB. Okay, but you don't have to provision any 100 GB or anything. You just keep adding the things inside the S3 bucket, and that's how your S3 bucket will grow. So S3 bucket is highly scalable and can handle unlimited number of objects, making it ideal choice for large data sets or hosting high traffic website. So S3 bucket here, the behind scene, it's completely behind scene managed infra is provided by the AWS, and AWS promises us to taken care by all the infrastructure things. Okay, so if you want to have something scalable solution where you can keep putting the things, can be accessed like n number of times. So all of these things you can get it from AWS as a benefit. Okay, so that's about the S3 bucket. Okay, so here we don't have a storage class. We will discuss it when we're discussing the demo. Okay, so this was just a theory about your S3 bucket. So any questions so far, guys? Anything with respect to theory? What we discussed just now
Only
about this? Yes.
multiple times while discussing in AWS, I have heard AWS Lambda, CloudTrail. Will we discuss about this in future classes?
No, those services
Uh,
is not part of the this syllabus.
okay,
Uh,
Amar. Can you say just one line what is that? To know, just to know. Just
okay,
one line what is that?
yes, sure. So, the Lambda service we have, which is again from the AWS. Now, what that service is basically, that service is aiming to go with the serverless solution. Okay, now what is meant by serverless solution? You can just imagine. So right now, till the time you guys are much familiar with the EC2. Okay, so EC2 is what? EC2 is a virtual machine you create, and on top of that, you put the application, and that's how you work. Okay, but try to understand behind the scenes story, like what exactly here we are trying to achieve. So we have an application, actually the artifact. Okay, the artifact is running here on the EC2 machine, and whoever wants to access that application, okay, the people connect to this EC2 server, they access the application, and that's how they they get a result. Like they just get the acknowledgement, and then response will again sent by the EC2 machine. So EC2, what exactly EC2 is providing? EC2 is providing you the computing platform, okay, where this application will be running all the time, and whenever somebody is connecting to application, you will get a response. That's a EC2, normal EC2 server is. Now let's talk about the Lambda, okay, because to understand the difference between Lambda and EC2, you need to understand the EC2 first. Okay, now let's talk about the Lambda. So what Lambda is saying, like what this Lambda is saying, that it is a serverless solution. Okay, serverless. Serverless means what? EC2 is a server. Okay, EC2 is server. So Lambda is what? Lambda is, we are saying that serverless, that we don't want any EC2 kind of machine. Okay. So what is meant by that? So here also you would like to do a same thing, but without actually having the servers provisioned by you. Means that, so again there will be the involvement of the server. Okay, but here you create a server, you log into it. Okay, you can feel the server. Okay, you have created server, you can log into it, you can work on that server, you can deploy the application, you can do whatever the things on the EC2 machine, you can do it. Okay, it's like your machine. Okay, that's a virtual machine you create. What is meant by serverless? Serverless is like we are not using the server at all. Okay, so what happened here, that we have to write a code. Okay, we have to write a code, and we can tell directly to a Lambda that this is the code you have to execute. So we provide the code. Just assume that we have written some code. Now on Lambda, okay, Lambda is one function, we have to write one Lambda function. Okay, so there Lambda is a platform, so on which we provide a code, and we tell to AWS that just take this code, and we will be telling it to just execute it. Now there we can use the multiple services together to achieve what you want to wish. Okay, whatever you want to uh, do. Now not all the applications are Lambda friendly. Okay, like the traditional application which you have something, let's say you got artifact and such application. No, such application you cannot run with the Lambda. Okay, then what kind of a application you can run it? So you can imagine something, let's say somebody wants to just connect with one URL. Okay, then that URL will trigger the Lambda function, and then Lambda function is doing something. Okay, you want the Lambda function should be doing something, and then that's it. Okay, there is no state maintaining, or some user data storage or anything like that you wish to do. So this kind of a use cases, you handle it with the Lambda, and here you need to write some code, and that code, like which language you would like to choose, that's something the option you have it. Okay, so if you know the JavaScript, you can go with that. If you know the Node, okay, you can go with that. You know the Python, you go with that. You know the Golang, okay, you go with that. Okay, so as a DevOps engineer, if you're interested in learning the Lambda, okay, so in most of the cases, people go with the Python as the primary language. Okay, although it is saying that there is support of so many different languages we have there. But yes, Python is something, it is the most used language that we use it with along with the Lambda. Uh, and yes, we have multiple choice, okay, but that Python is something that you can just do it. So here you write some code in Python, and code execution will happen. Okay, let me give you example. Okay, so very recently I work on one of the Lambda functions. I'll tell you the use case, so probably that will make you give you understanding about it. Okay, so the use case was like the people. Okay, there was a complete non-technical team wants to access one EC2 server, but they don't have their IP whitelisted. Okay, so each of the person when they log in, okay, so their IP has to be IP added in the security group so that these people can log into the machine. Now, what happened that this team is non-technical, so we cannot provide them the AWS access. Second option is that they were giving us their IP and we were just adding the IP on each day. Okay, but the problem was that it was a big team and we can't just involved in this activity that they will be providing the IP and we will be just adding it. Okay, so it's again what I can call as a donkey work. So how I can automate this task? So we use the Lambda function there. Okay, what we did is we have something, the API gateway. Okay, we have one more service in AWS. Now these are the advanced things. Okay, guys, like whatever I'm telling you, but I want you guys to know about it. Okay, it shouldn't be, you shouldn't be aware about all these things. So API gateway is one more service we have. Now API gateway is also will be used most of by developers. Okay, developers use this particular service a lot. Okay, API gateway. Now we have created one API gateway, and here we have configured the domain name with this. Okay, so to uh, have the accessibility from the domain name. Okay, like for whenever user, so for user we will be just providing the URL. As soon as somebody puts a URL, okay, so URL will hit to, like, URL will come to API gateway. API gateway is going to trigger the Lambda function, and we have written here one program that will take. So whenever a user hits the request, okay, from your browser, so it also takes the source IP. Okay, so here along with the URL, you will also have a source IP. Source IP is nothing but the what IP with which you are going to transfer your packets. So then this particular URL, with this URL, we will be taking, or we will be fetching that IP in the Lambda function, and that IP we were adding inside your EC2 security group. Okay, we'll be adding to security group. So that was the use case we had previously done. Okay, now how, like, what exactly here we are achieving? Okay, so okay, can we have done the same thing on the EC2 machine? Probably yes. Okay, let's say here you have to just write a similar program, and wherever something the request comes to you're going to fetch the IP and you will be adding it. So we have something called as Boto3 library. Okay, Python has one library called as Boto3. So with this particular library, either you can write the Python programs to do the execution on EC2 machine or on the Lambda function. But here, why we haven't go with the EC2 machine and why Lambda? The simplest reason is that EC2 machine runs for 24/7. Okay, EC2 machine runs 24/7, and even when my people are not even accessing this machine, so in that case also I have to pay the price. Okay, so I have to pay the price for 24/7. On the other side here, in case of Lambda, the pricing is based on how many times you are invoking that function. So compared to this, okay, this particular solution is going to be much cost friendly, and this is when we go with this solution. Okay, so what I'm trying to make you understand that how you can use a Lambda function in real time scenarios. Okay, so there are not like all the time you can go and use the Lambda function, but yes, if you are someone who is good at programming, okay, and then nowadays you don't have to be good at programming, okay, you have to be good with writing the English, and probably the prompts you can just tell to your ChatGPT or some other the AI tools to write the programs for you. Okay, so in fact you can try this out, the whatever I just told you, right? So API gateway, Lambda function, adding this entry to a security group is something we did this as a thing. Okay, so yes, these are the things you can do it with the Lambda function. So is the Lambda function understood to you?
Yes, Amol, but small doubt. If someone who should not access the URL also accesses, then also it will store the IP and it will give the access, no? In such cases, it will be an issue, right?
No, no, sorry, I didn't get your question. Can you come again?
You said here, whenever someone is accessing the URL, it will
Mm-hmm.
take the IP from them and it will store in the security group and give access to them. But
Mm-hmm.
if someone who should not access the website gets the URL and they try to log into that URL, then also they will be access to the website, right?
Correct, correct. Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so what for the authentication mechanism here we have put it that for each there were three systems, and among the three systems we have created some user and a password. Okay, so whenever a person is putting the URL, so they have to put the like inside the URL they also have to put their username. Okay, they have to put their username, and then further once they access the URL, it is going to like take the prompt. Okay, the prompt will come where they have to fill up the password, and once the username and password is done, then only that IP will get added to the security group. So that was a mechanism here we have built it. Okay,
Okay,
so
ma'am.
yeah, and inside the program it just simply we have hard coded the things like if the user one is this, the password has to be this. If the username is two, okay, like for this password has to be two. So if else it was a condition. So if the the parameters is coming with this way only, then only just go ahead, or else show that access denied. So something like that we did.
And for EC2 creation also we can write it with Terraform, no? Then why we are using this Lambda, Python and all code for
So
writing the code? Yeah.
okay, so see, creating your infrastructure is a different thing. Okay, in fact, Lambda also you can create it with the help of Terraform. Okay, but here we are not talking about the infrastructure creation. Okay, what we are trying to achieve is that like if you create or if you create a EC2 machine, so you are running your machine 24 by 7. Okay, on the other side, just think about that I have the three users who wants to whitelist their IP or want to add the IP to a security group. So they will put the URL, their IP will get whitelisted, second user, third user, that's it. Okay. Now my user can be doing it all the time, okay. But here I'll be just paying the price for how much of time, how many of the times I'm invoking that Lambda function. Here I'll be paying the price for 24 by 7 using the EC2 server. Okay. You
Oh,
get the point?
okay, ma'am. Yeah, I
That's a
got the
major
point.
that's a major difference
Yes,
we have,
yes.
and that's the reason we are.
Whenever we are logging or whenever we are using only, then we are paying for Lambda. But EC2 we are paying continuously. That is the main
Yes,
difference, right?
yes, correct.
Yes,
That's the reason we are
got it.
looking for a service solution. Yeah. And about the CloudTrail, I'll talk about it. Okay, so CloudTrail is something we have to discuss CloudWatch service. So there we'll discuss about the CloudTrail. Okay,
Yeah, okay, ma'am.
all right. So I was talking about the S3 bucket. Okay, so again, guys, back on the S3 bucket here topic here. So S3 bucket is what like simple storage. Here we are going to store the objects. Okay, so let's go and do the things practically now. So as a part of creating the service, okay, it's no big deal. You can just create it. So I'll just go to SA bucket here and open the service in the new tab. And right now also you can see that I have created a few of the buckets. Okay. So let me create a new one for you guys. Okay, so I can click on create bucket, and then sorry, then here you can provide some name to your bucket name. Okay, let's say you would like to give the name as now any name. Okay, now I'll just look for a student. So I have one student called as Aditya. Okay, so I'll just choose Aditya's name to create a bucket. So I'll say Aditya demo bucket. Okay, so probably that's what name I'm going to consider here to while creating. But before that, I just want to prove one small point is that bucket name has to be unique in the world. So if I try to create a bucket, you guys can see bucket with the same name already exists, right? So this reason I'm looking for to have unique name. Now in fact you see that Aditya bucket name demo bucket is something again also taken. Okay, now you will say like that I'll just keep getting the errors that whatever the bucket I name I just put it. Okay, I'll just keep getting the errors. So what is solution on this? So usually what happens that organizations do that either they go and put their account ID along with that bucket name. That's a one solution they do, or they just put any random number here while creating the bucket. They just put the random number here, and that's how they are making their bucket unique. And these settings we are going to discuss ahead. Okay, like in the while doing further. Okay, so that the settings we are going to discuss object ownership. Further here, you see that block public access. Okay, blocking the public access of the bucket is something is a mandatory thing. You see here the tick mark. Now what this tick mark is already blocking your access. Okay, please understand that your bucket, when you just create a bucket, so by default it is going to be the private one. If you want to make it public, you can make it, but that's something you have to do it. Okay, by default your bucket creation is going to happen in a private mode. So right now this tick mark is saying that block all public access. Okay, so in older days, like in 2018 or somewhere, that time that S3 was allowing you to choose between the public and the private. But in few of the times, some of the incidents happened which made AWS to decide that by default they are going to keep the bucket as the private. So some of the data might leak. Okay, let's say people are unaware about what they are trying to do, and they're keeping the data. Okay, in such case the data might get leaked. That's why they have made all the buckets as private one. If you have to make it public, okay, we will see how to do it. So I'll go ahead. Then you have something called as a bucket versioning. Now bucket versioning is what? That is something you get one extra option to to uh, you know so we actually create something called as version. Okay, let's say I stored one file. Okay, let's say I stored one file and I deleted that. Okay, I deleted that. So whenever a bucket versioning is enabled, so in reality that bucket is not deleted. I mean that file is not deleted. Okay, it just one delete marker came for that particular bucket. Okay, so I can retrieve data back. I can retrieve the data back. So that's something the versioning gives us one of the feature that, let's say you keep adding any of the object with the same name. Let's say you have created file one, you upload that file one to the S3 bucket. So and again after some time you upload one more file with the file one same name. So in such case what happened that first file will also remain there, second file will come up with the new version. Okay, the file one is going to be remain there, but it will have something different, version ID. Then third file, if you just put the same file again, then file will again come but with a different version 3. Like that, you can keep adding the same file name and with a different version. So let's say if you just go back and check any of the previous version, so you have that version stored inside your S3 bucket. Okay, or let's say you just have uploaded one file that is the file 1, and in that case the versioning is enabled. Okay, you deleted that particular file 1, so object is not really deleted. Okay, object is still there, so you can retrieve that data. So that's something, the feature you get here in terms of bucket versioning. So you want to enable it, you want to disable it, okay, that's your choice. But again, do understand one small thing is that bucket versioning is going to cost you more. Why? Because it is going to maintain all the versions for anything, right? So even if you delete the stuff, it's not getting deleted, so you have to delete it one more time. Like it's like a recycle bin, and that's the reason here the bucket size is going to be bigger and bigger compared to your normal bucket, and that's the reason the costing of the bucket is also going to be higher. So it's up to you that what's your requirement is. As per that, you store your buckets. Okay, so that's something you can have it. Okay, fine. So here you can keep enable or disable. Then further, this is the encryption. Okay, we will just keep it, let the Amazon manage the encryption for us. And finally here I'll go and say create bucket. So we'll create a bucket. So bucket creation is easy option actually. Okay, there we don't have to do a lot of things. It was just the bucket name we have provided, and finally I've said the create bucket, and we're done with the bucket creation. So here you can see the bucket we have. Now this right now we don't have any object inside in it. Okay, we can add one. We can add the bucket here. So you see the objects. Okay, let's add any of the object here. Click on upload, and the way we do it, okay, uploading. So you can just either select the folder or files. Okay, just say any of the file that you wish to do upload. Now on downloads folder, I have this AWS services PDF, or what is this? It is also one of the certificate kind of a thing we have. So I'm going to download this particular, upload this particular thing. Okay, and I'll say open. Now you can see it's telling me this is going to be my name, and folder I haven't put anything. Okay, and this is the PDF file we have, and size is going to be this one, and destination is simply going to be this bucket name. Then further I have few options here. So right now bucket permission is what? This is a private bucket. Okay, so that's the reason I haven't any option here. Now how to change that permission, I'll show you in some time. Properties. Okay, now that's something I wanted to discuss about. Now while uploading, you get a chance to tell to the S3 that what storage class with which this object you would like to upload. Now this is something, the very interesting thing, guys. So based on what your requirement is, you actually tell to AWS that which storage class you would like to go with. Now you have multiple options here. One option is that standard. Now standard is the by default option we have, and this particular option is frequently access data more than once a month with the millisecond access. Like if you want to put something inside your S3 bucket and you just want to keep accessing that object. Okay, right now you are uploading any the PDF. So that PDF document you just want to access it again and again and again over in a month. Okay, so in that case you should be keeping it as a standard one. That's a general type of access we can put it, storage class, and that's a standard one, right? But here just look at the bucket type. Okay, it's a general purpose. The availability zone is going to be in a 3 AZ. Okay, So your standard is going to be minimum 3 AZs are going to be your object is going to be placed. So by any chance that, let's say, in any one of the AZ went down, so you still have the objects placed in a other two AZs. So that's the reason the S3, we can say, the more reliable solution we have. S3 is what? S3 is the most reliable solution you have, because you can imagine, let's say I'm keeping some data in my laptop. Okay, how much I can bill on this particular data? Probably, let's say my the SSD disk got corrupted. Okay, I might lose my data. Okay, or let's say the laptop got in a problematic situation. So in that case, I have the data in SSD, so I have to repair the laptop first, and then I can retrieve data. So there is still, I have the chance. In case of AWS, we are not going to keep the data at one place, but in fact at a three different place. So if one goes down, we have second goes down, we have third. Okay, so that's the reliability here we are talking about. Okay, so that's what the by default behavior we get. But of course, compared to all the other storage class, standard is going to charge you more. Okay, so here while uploading itself, you can decide which particular storage class you would like to choose. Okay, you can choose a other classes also. Let's discuss the other one. Okay, now depending on your accessing pattern, you decide which one to go with. Okay, so here you have the second one, which is a intelligent tiering. Now, how the intelligent tiering works? So you don't decide at initial that what storage class you would like to go with. You just tell the intelligent tiering, and based on your accessing pattern, okay, the data will migrate to different storage class. So this is going to be the, compared to this, okay, this is going to be the cost efficient. Okay, and how it is going to be? So basically here you have something called as the intelligent tiering. So based on your access, okay, let's say you have put the 10 objects. Okay, let me give you example. So let's say, just assume that within the one S3 bucket, you have put the 10 objects. Okay, and now not all the 10 files you are accessing. Okay, let's say one file you have accessed it at the start of the your month, and probably the rest of the all files you have never accessed it. Okay, again on the next month, again you access the first file. Okay, again rest of the all files you have never accessed. Okay, or let's say on the third month you access this fourth file. Okay, but let's, like, still you haven't used the rest of the 8 files. Now in such case, okay, in such case, what intelligent tiering is going to do, it is going to observe your files for 90 days. Okay, under on 90 days, like in 90 days, it is going to keep all the objects in the standard storage class. But once it is understood that the things are not moving, like you're not accessing this object, this object, this object. Okay, so you are unnecessarily putting those objects in a standard class and you are not accessing it, so it will charge you. Okay, AWS is going to charge them as a standard class, whatever that standard charge pricing we have. So with that pricing, AWS is going to charge you. So better in such case, okay, when you don't have understanding about predictability, how many times you will be accessing your file. So in such case, you should be using the intelligent tiering pattern. Basically, AWS will decide, okay, based on your frequency, it is going to put to different classes. Okay, so here we have standard IA class. Okay, and after that, even still the people are not using that file, then it is going to put the glacier class. Okay, now what these classes are, let's discuss that. Standard IA is infrequent access objects, you put it here. Okay, and like for 30 days, minimum storage days is going to be the 30 days. So that's what, then further again the things will move to the next storage class. Okay, so standard IA is what you can directly also upload the things to standard IA in frequent access. Like when you don't access your things so frequently, those objects you are going to put here, and you get all the things like similar way, but here one option you have, that is a retrieval fee. Okay, when you have to retrieve that object, so there is going to be one small fee you have to pay as an extra fee. Okay, but compared to your standard class, this is going to be the much more cost effective. Okay, you have to pay less price here in case of standard infrequent access. But again, when you have to access the file, okay, so you shouldn't be doing like this way, that you just dump all the files in the standard infrequent access, and still you're declaring that object as a infrequent access, like you are not going to access it, but still you just keep accessing it. So in such case, you have to pay the per GB fees is applied there, right? So you might have to pay a more fee. So that doesn't understand that what you are trying to access. So if you are accessing that object a lot, in that case, you should be keeping it in standard. If you're not accessing that object a lot, okay, then you should be keeping it under the standard infrequent access. Then we have one more option, that is Glacier. So Glacier is long live archive data. Okay, like we never access the things. Okay, such data we put it in the Glacier, like a backups or such things. Okay, but still here, if you want to access it back, okay, let's say I have uploaded the object, but I don't want to use that a lot. So in that case, even my frequency is not even once in a month. Okay, it just once in a year, something like that I have. Okay, so in that case, I can put the things in a Glacier. But what is the benefit you get? Glacier instance retrieval, that whenever you want to access that thing, okay, whenever you want to access that thing, you can just go and simply access like that directly. Okay, like in millisecond you should be able to access it. So that's a Glacier instance retrieval you get option. But again, here you have the retrieval fee applied. Okay, like whatever the data you are retrieving, on that the fees is applied. Then this was formerly Glacier. Okay, so they just made this one more new class here. Okay, this wasn't existing earlier. So this was a normal Glacier, in which you access data once in life, once in a year or something like that. But here retrieval is going to take some time. Okay, again the fees for this fee and this fee. Okay, so Glacier flexible retrieval. Okay, here you the fees are going to be less, but retrieval are going to be for minutes to hours. Okay, let's say you are asking for any object, so you can see that object, but you cannot just download that just like that. Okay, so you have to wait for a few minutes to few hours. Okay, so that's what here you get the option, like you should be you should be waiting for your object. Okay, then we have one more option, that is Glacier Deep Archive. Now Deep Archive is basically, again, you will be accessing the data. Again, retrieval is going to be the so many after so many hours. After in some cases it takes some week time also. Okay, Deep Archive. So at least they have made it to a retrieval now, but they earlier it was something like a week. So you just ask for data and you have to wait for a week, and after that you will get a data. Now what are the different ways here I discuss? Okay, so those are depending on your use case completely. So not normal person just go and think about that where I should keeping all the data. I'll tell you the example. Okay, let's say finance institute. Just think about any of the finance institute, such as uh, let's say any of the bank you have, and we take a loan, okay, from the bank. Okay, now they just made one document. Okay, let's say if I take the home loan on the on your property. Okay, so what they're gonna do, they're gonna scan the document, and for safety purpose they are going to keep it at some storage facility. Now it like one document is the file. Okay, we have the hard code that file they have, so they have the other way to store it. But of course the scan copy, they are going to store it something like this. Now why they are doing this? Because see, storing that document is an important one. Okay, storing that particular document is important thing. Now, if they stored it in the standard, so there's no problem. But see, like once you take the loan, probably nobody's going to check the document until unless that like that loan is matured. Okay, like you keep paying that EMIs. Let's say you have taken loan for 10 years, so maybe you're not going to check the document again and again, or like that organization, you're not asking to that organization also, right? Like bank. So in such case, we have these different options. Okay, like you can go with a Glacier Instant or Deep Archive or something like that. In such case, you just keep your object there, and then you forget about it. Okay, and then wherever you require, so in that case, you can just ask to AWS. So that's how you are going to store your. That's how you are going to save your costs. Okay, that's how you're going to save your cost of storage. Okay, so because in general we generate a lot of data. Okay, all of the applications or all of the people are generating a lot of data. So to store all of this data, we require a storage facility, and if you're using a standard one, then it is going to charge you a lot. Here when I'm talking about, like, storing a data, so S3 is solution. We're looking to store a lot of data. Okay, data could be in petabytes. Okay, like thousands of GBs data we are storing here. So when we have such big data, so in that case, we have to choose a specific class, or you can simply say intelligent tiering. So one after the other class, it is going to place the object. So let's say you have multiple objects and few of them are getting utilized again and again. So the objects that utilize again and again, those we remain in the standard class, and rest of the others will move to the lower classes, like that. That thing will also happen. Okay, so in a more good way, you should be putting it to the intelligent tiering. So and let me tell you frankly, in our organization, we do this. Okay, we do the intelligent tiering because I work with something, the media operations organization. Okay, so where we have a lot of big video files we have. Okay, and those are really big. Okay, like in some GBs we have. So when we have these big objects, okay, and probably people don't use that file as much as we just keep generating a lot of data, a lot of it. Okay, we use S3 like a lot. Okay, we like our each of the S3 bucket is filled with the petabytes of data. That is the thousands of GBs of the data we have in each of the S3 buckets. So in such case, if you go with the normal solution, that will be really costly. Okay, it'll almost like a 50 to 100 times costly it is going to be when we compare it to the other intelligence, because we store a lot of things that are useless. Okay, nobody is going to access them, but still, as a compliance is, we have to store those things, and this is a place where intelligent tiering can comes into the picture. Okay, so in short, what I'm trying to say is that you need to understand what this thing is, and then here we have one more thing. Probably I didn't talk about S3 Express. It is like it is same way you access the things. Single digit millisecond performance. Okay, like when you just want a performance to be very good to accessing the things. Okay, so in that case you can go with the S3 Express one zone, but here the zone is going to be the single zone. Okay, zone is going to be the single zone. So that's how you have a multiple classes here. So whichever is more meaningful in your case. Okay, you should be choosing that. Let's say you're working on something as an organization, and you're storing your backups of the system to the S3 bucket. Okay, just imagine that you're implementing a solution that you're storing you're just storing the backups of your systems to the S3 bucket. So let's say you're storing the backups, right? So backup is something, again, we will not be using it more frequently, right? Backup we will be using when we will require that backup. Okay, so in such case you can store, like, let's say intelligent, so automatically the objects will go deep dive or glacier, then first further glacial flexible, then glacier deep archive, and wherever we require we can go and access that backup, right? So again we are storing, like here, saving the cost, and this is about the storage class facility we have. So normally I'm just like going with the standard here, okay, for this particular demo. But yes, you have multiple options here. And finally here I'll go and say upload. Okay, so let me just revise you what here we were talking about. So here we have say I have said add file. I have chosen the file, and then here I chosen the under the properties the storage class is standard one. We discussed that, and here I'll click on the upload. So upload took very less time because the file was just in KBs, and yes, we're good, right? So we have uploaded the file successfully. I can close that, and inside Aditya's bucket, you can see here Aditya's demo bucket. Okay, here we have this particular PDF file. So we have successfully uploaded the file here. So is there any questions, guys, you have? Anything you want to ask, guys, from your end? Any questions, guys, till the time? Whatever we have discussed so far.
Amul, only files or anything we can upload in this?
You can upload anything, okay? It is like it is just a normal story. So we just dump the data, right? So you can upload the MP3, you can upload the MP4. Okay, it doesn't actually understand. S3 bucket doesn't understand what you are uploading. You can upload anything, okay? If you have any video or anything like that, any software, okay, now that's a package, Windows Explorer package we have, so we can upload that as well. So we can just upload anything here, okay?
It might be anything. There is no restriction. We can upload anything.
Yes, anything, whatever you have, text file, video file, MP3 file, whatever you have, you can upload it.
Okay, Amul.
Yes. Yes, Prathavish, any questions?
Assigned to the any privacy or the on that particular file. So if that share the particular, so that can be access that.
Okay, so you're talking about like how to share it with the other
Hello.
people, or yes, yes, Prathavish.
Yes, yes, yes. With the
So
privacy protection.
okay, I think your question is that like now we have uploaded the file here, so how to share it with the other people and all? Is it your question is?
Yes, yes, right, right. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So I would like to answer this question in a brief way. Actually, that's what the next thing I have to discuss here. But let's do it with this way. I have to take one small call actually. Okay, that's a bit urgent. So let's have 5 minutes of break, and after that
Okay,
we will continue
okay,
session. Okay. Hi everyone. Like,
okay.
please don't go anywhere. We will just have 5 minutes of break, and after that we will continue session. All right, guys. So yeah, let's get back on the topic. Okay. So here the next question is asked by the Prathamesh, and this was about that how somebody can access this particular file. Okay. So there are multiple ways to which you can just make this file public, or let's say there are few of the best practices actually that we need to discuss here. Okay. So the very first one, let's talk about that. Let me make you understand that this particular file is what, like this particular bucket is, this is a private bucket, and that's what we do. Okay, that's what we do. That if we want, like in an organization, when we create a bucket, so we always create it in a private way. Okay, we never expose the things to the outside people. If you want, we can, like I'll tell you the way. Okay, if you just want to make the bucket public and anyone can just access anything. Okay, so that if you want to do something like that, we can do, but we don't do. Okay, we don't do. And then we do only in the case when we would like to display, or we would like to host any website here on this particular bucket. Okay, so in that case only we go with the, we go and make your objects public. So until unless you have something similar use case, okay, you don't make the things public. Okay, but still you want to access the your bucket. Okay, let's say here I have this particular file. Okay, AWS CLI something, that I have the file, and I want to share this particular file with you all people, but I don't want to make the bucket public. Okay, I don't want to make the bucket public because that's something the use case we have, right? Like I don't want to, we never make the bucket public. Okay, until unless something we are doing something static website hosting or something like that. Okay, so how I can do that? So for that purpose, what I can do is I can just like choose that particular object, that whichever you would like to share. You can go to actions, and here we have something called as share with a pre-signed URL. Okay, we have one option called as share with a pre-signed URL. Now what this pre-signed URL is this particular URL is what basically that I'll tell you. Okay, so let's say this is object we have. Okay, I'll click on that object, and this is the object URL we have. So if I take this particular object URL and if I give you this particular object URL, like if I just put it in any of the browser, you guys will get the access denied option. Okay, now why I'm getting the access denied? Because this bucket is not public. So on the other side, if I make the this particular bucket, here in permission, okay, here I just have to give this public access. Okay, so if I give this access, now I have to make that edit changes. Okay, I'll show you in few minutes like how you can make the changes here. So if you make here public, then and then in that case, with this URL you should be able to download it. But I'm telling you the way that without making your bucket public, how you can share the object. Okay, so the other option, that is pre-signed URL option we have. So how that option works, you just put this one, you select the object, go to your action, and here you have a share with a pre-signed URL. Now what is pre-signed URL is basically, you are telling to the S3 that I just want to have this bucket, I want to share this object with few people, just allow with the URL only, just allow the access with the URL only. So that's a pre-signed URL you're creating, and you have to tell like how many, for how many minutes or hours this URL will be working. You can select this hours option, and maximum hours you can put it as a 12 hours. Okay, so you share the object, so you can put like this is for 12 hours I'm sharing. You can say create, and once you share that particular URL with anyone, that person should be able to download, access that particular file for 12 hours. After that, this URL will become invalid. Okay, Let's say you just want to share it for a few minutes, like 60 minutes, okay, 120 minutes, like that. So you can do it that way also. So this particular URL will be valid for 120 minutes only. Okay, so just say create pre-signed URL. Now here you see the pre-signed URL is created, and if you have to copy that pre-signed URL, just click here, copy. Okay, and we have copied it. Now if I go and paste that particular URL, okay, and just press enter, you can see the object has started downloading, and we successfully able to download. Now even if I give this particular URL to you all, okay, so that particular URL, you should be with that URL, you should be also able to download the things. And this URL is valid for 2 hours only. After 2 hours, if I try to access anything with that URL, you won't be able to access. And you can see this is a unique object we have created, and there is some signature. Okay, signature gets assigned. So this is a signature that AWS has assigned. Now this signature is just valid for that whatever the time you have provided. Okay, after that it will become invalid. So this is the way that we share the objects with anyone. Okay, in real time scenarios, that let's say if you want to share any of the object for a few minutes with your colleague or something, okay, in that case you can share it with this way. So is this understood to you guys?
Yes, Amol. But if we do like this, it will be anyone can download it within 2 hours. But only if we want to give to some specific people, only a specific member has to download. How then?
So see, like, what is your intention is, depending on that the things will matter, right? So here in this case, our intention is that this particular URL, like, now of course you will be sharing this URL to the people who wants to access it, right? And that's something, the URL is really complex. Okay, this URL is not something that somebody can just guess it. Okay, you see, this is actually key. This actually is key. So it is having like a, the probably the probability of generating this URL is going to be very less, that somebody can just generate this URL by themselves. Okay, that's the one thing. Second thing is that, let's say somebody is working in the organization, so and then they have the AWS account, so access, okay. And by any chance that if you, okay, let's assume that here we have an EC2 machine. Yeah, we can do one more thing here. Okay, whatever the question you ask, okay, for that there is one more option we have called as access point. Okay, this is the one more option we have from the S3 bucket now, but this option is bit complex, okay, to understand. I'll try to make you understand. So this is a very similar, like, the we have access it with the S3 bucket. Oh, it's my bad. Okay, like, if you remember that in the IAM policy we discuss about that few of the people, if you want to allow. Okay, now here we are assuming a scenario that the people, okay, or let's say developer or some of the people have the AWS account access. Okay, and in that case we have not provided the full access to them, like admin access or something like that, or we haven't provided S3 bucket full access. In such case, how you can make people to provide the access? Okay, so in this case we can create something called as a create access point. Now access point is what, basically that developer can access your S3 bucket with that access point. Okay, developer can access that bucket with the access point, but this is a bit confusing. Okay, because here you need to create something like a bucket policy and all. You need to attach that bucket policy to your S3 bucket, and for your IAM user, okay, whoever is a user, okay, for that user also you need to attach the one policy that this person should be able to access the S3 bucket. So when you do this thing, then only you will be able to access your bucket via the S3 bucket. I mean, the S3 bucket can be accessed through that person. So I think, the question you asked, so for that this is the correct answer we have. So we have a two
Yeah.
choices here. Okay, first one is that pre-sign URL, with the simplest URL you should be able to download access that object. Second option is that when people don't have the S3, like they are a user of this AWS account. Okay, they are a user of this AWS account, but they don't have a S3 bucket full permission access. Okay, they cannot access all the buckets, and you just want to give the one single bucket access. So in such case, you can go with the this access point. Okay, now this point, like this particular option wasn't exist from very long time. AWS has started this one probably recently. Okay, not so recently, but yes, of course, like 1 year or something like that, as far as I know. But this is something AWS has created for that purpose only, the access point. Okay.
Got it, Amar.
Okay. Now I could have showed you the demo for this. Okay, but this is a bit confusing. Okay, and I won't be able to, like, I'll record at least 1 hour to teach this because that's something really confusing. Okay, access point, teaching access point is uh, not that easy. Probably I'll make some notes and then I'll share with you, and then maybe the things might be a little easy for you. Yeah. Okay. So that's one thing. And yes, let me go back, and I want to talk about one of the important step now. Like how we can make the things publicly open for you all. Or here, let's say we have to access the website. Okay, let's just host a website on this particular bucket. Okay. Now here I'm talking about what? I'm talking about hosting a website on the S3 bucket. Now see, till the time, if you remember that we have done this thing on a EC2 server as well. Okay, that we have one EC2 machine. Then on EC2 machine, we have installed Apache, and on Apache machine, on var www/html location, if we put any of the files here, website files, so as per that, you should be able to access this particular website. Okay, you should be able to access your website. Okay, so here you have an EC2 machine. On top of that, you run the web server, and you put your all the static website or any of the website, and then that's how you access the things. Okay, so that's the one feature you get. Okay, in case of S3, okay, how you can do the same thing. So here you have the something, the files. Okay, so those files here you will be first of all uploading to S3 bucket. On S3 bucket, you will be uploading those files. Okay, that whatever the artifacts you have for website. So those, first of all, you will be uploading it here. Then next thing is that you have to make all the files. Okay, all the files, that whatever you have, all the files you will be making it public. Okay, all the files you will be making it public, and after that you should be able to access all of those. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it now. How you can do it? So you can go here, and first of all, let me just delete this, because this couldn't be the part of my website. Okay, this PDF or this AWS CLI, this is not a part of my website, or I just simply delete it. I'll just simply delete these objects. So here I'll say delete. Okay, so sorry guys. Okay, yeah, so I have deleted the things. Okay, I've deleted that objects, and now it's time to actually upload something here. Now I do have one website. Okay, like the card website, if you know it, and I should get at somewhere on my desktop. So I'll just look for any of the folder like my inbox. Inside that, I must have that. Okay, inside a repo. Oh no, I don't have. Just give me a second. I'm just looking for a card website. Here we don't have any. Okay, on desktop I have one repo folder. Okay, let's check here. Okay, I don't see any of the folder here, which is a card website. Yeah, I do have. Okay, he is here. Okay, so I do have already, which is a Git clone, basically, the on desktop on a GitHub. Okay, on GitHub, there is one card website I have, right? So this particular website is I have the website content. Okay, this particular website content, I will take it and upload it to S3 bucket. Okay, that's what my intention is. So I have cloned this particular code. I have cloned on my desktop, and then this is what the clone files I have. So what I'm going to do now is I'll just go to S3 bucket and I'm going to upload that. Okay, so just on this particular inside this bucket, I'll say upload, and here I'm gonna say add files. On desktop, it is the repo folder we have, and inside repo we have that card website. Okay, so this is the folder we have. So I'll say open, and I just want to select all this. Okay, say open. So all of these files folders here I am uploading. uh, just a second, it is just showing me the two files. Okay, okay, let me do it this way. I'll just remove. Okay, because inside the folder I have so many files, so it is just considering the files here. I need to select the add folder. I need to select the add folder because here it was just considering the files, so I'll say add folder. Now inside a folder I have so many things, so I'll say here card website, the folder, say upload. So inside that folder we have so many files, so it's saying yes, upload it. So yeah, here you can see all of these things I want to have. Okay, and can you guys see here that all the files name will get displayed here, and this is the key, card website slash card website link. Okay, like inside that folder we have, and then like that 65 files we have, small files we have. So inside this card website, let's say CSS, under CSS I have these three files, so like that it has considered fine. So we are good with choosing the folder, and it's time to upload it. Okay, so one by one all the files will get uploaded, and yes, we have to wait for some time. Now here one more thing you guys have to consider while doing the real stuff. Okay, so in the case where you are uploading the things from one system to other system, in that case the internet speed also matters a lot. Okay, in this case it was just a 6 MB of data, so that's fine. But just imagine you're transferring the 1000 GB data, so you need to consider bandwidth of your internet connection, that how much is the bandwidth and how much time it is going to take to transfer that data. Okay, fine. So at this moment that we're done with uploading the stuff, and now it's time to go back. So here you can see the under the card website we have the things here. Okay, now you have to make it, or you have to show this data as a publicly available, right? So what the very first thing you are going to do, you'll go to the properties, and under the properties at last you have to go here. We have a static website hosting. Okay, you can see right now it is a disabled. Let it make it enabled. So the very first option is you're going to do enabled it. Okay, then you are saying hosting type is going to be the hosting a static website. Index dot document is going to be the index dot html. That is your file. And for error, okay, like for error you can upload any of the document, like let's say 404 something like that, and that file name has to be error.html, like that you can do it, but let it be, that's optional one. And here I'll save changes. Okay, so we have enabled this option. Okay, now if I go and show you, you can see that we have enabled it. As soon as you enable, you get a website URL to access your object. Okay, so you can copy this particular option, and now that's how you should be able to access your website. Okay, so here if I paste that, okay, I'm getting access forbidden. Now one more thing here I need to consider is that my data is inside a card website folder. Okay, so I'll say slash card website, but still you can see that I'm not able to access it. Okay, completely access denied it, and you know the reason. You know the reason because my bucket is private. Okay, now it's time to make your bucket public. Now in general case, you don't make it public until unless you have this requirement. Okay, guys, please have a reminder on this, because making a bucket public means that you're exposing all your data. So that's something we don't do it in real time. So here we have permission option. Okay, inside the permission option, you will go, and here you can see that something that block all public access. Okay, do you remember this something, the tick mark option we had while creating the bucket? So this is the option it is. We have to make it off first. Okay, we have to make this option first off. So just click on edit, and this particular option, which is we already have a tick mark, I'll just remove this tick mark. Okay, so I'm making that, I want to make the bucket public. So that's what here I'm saying. So just say save changes. It is also giving the warning, but yes, I know what I'm doing. So let's go ahead and say yes, confirm. So now I have first of all made the bucket public. Okay, that's a one thing we have. Further here I have to do one more thing, and what is that? So here the object ownership has to be control with the access control. Okay, access control list. So there's something called ACL, access control list. Okay, so who is going to access the things? Okay, so basically that setting it is. So right now the bucket is bucket owner info. So right now bucket ownership is just with me, that is the my user account. So I have to edit this setting, and right now this is what the setting we have. Okay, like we have disabled ACL. So when we want to make it public, so we have to make it enable it. Okay, like we have to do this one more setting, that object in this bucket can be owned by other AWS account also. Access to this bucket is specified using the ACL, like whoever the ACL access control list you're going to put, so those people should be able to access. Now as such we don't have to add any user here, but that's something we have to do it. Without this we cannot access your bucket. Or let me show you, like till the time we have just made the bucket public. Is the bucket is available? No. Okay, we still have not got the access, because here ACL enabled is something. The second step we have to do this. Okay, and yeah, if you want to write, okay, if you want to give the access to somebody else should be writing the object, you can do it, but I don't want to do that anything. I'll just say I acknowledge. Okay, I'll say save changes. So only thing, I just have to enable that ACL option. Okay, in ACL enabled is something I have to do, and yes, we have done that. Now once you do that, okay, once you do that, then and then only you can edit this option. Okay, like before than that this option was disabled. Okay, this option was disabled, and here we get one option. Okay, everyone. Okay, so now if you want to make bucket publicly accessible for everyone, okay, just go here and say list. Okay, just give the list and read access. Okay, don't provide the write access, that's not a good way. You can make it. Okay, so that's what you can do it, but here your goal is not to make your bucket objects publicly. Your goal is to make your website accessible. Okay, so you have done the two steps. Okay, one is this, you made these changes. Second is this, okay, you have enabled this ownership. Okay, and third thing you have to do is what? You have to come here, tick mark this option, go to actions, and under the option you have here the make public using ACL. Okay, the same option that what we saw just right now. Okay, so just click on that, and here you are saying that when public read access is enabled and not blocked by block public access setting, anyone in the world can access the specified object. Okay, so this is what you're saying here. So that bucket, and then that's what you want now. Okay, like when you want people should be access static website, when you have to access it by all the people, you have to purposefully you are making it. Okay, and yes, we're good with this thing as so, and now you should be able to access your website. Okay, so let me show you now. So let's refresh this page, and here we go. Okay, so you guys get what we have done so far is that here we have made the bucket public, and now you should be able to access your website. And the way it is working on any other EC2 server, it's working like the same way. Okay, your website is working with the same way. So what are the things here I have changed? Let me revise one more time. First, you'll go to the properties, go to last option, static website hosting. Here you just need to enable this option. That's the one thing. URL you'll get it from here, and I have uploaded the card website full folder, so I have to say it /card website. Okay, so that's something you have to say, and that's the one option. Second thing, you will go to your permissions. Then inside a permission, here you're gonna make this change, like you will be making it off. Okay, so you just have to untick that blocking access. Okay, third thing, here you will come and you're actually making these changes. Okay, ACL, but you cannot make the changes directly. First of all, you have to tell that you are allowed, like you are allowing that ACL changes, and after that here you will be simply this ACL changes you are making, and you will be making those changes from here, objects. Okay, so inside that, here you have made all the objects. You'll be doing it from outside actually. So here you'll click, and then that's how you're gonna say make public using ACL, and that's how you have made this static website. You have hosted the website. Okay. Now, what is the benefit you get here in even when you're comparing it with the EC2 machine? So understand, please, guys. Here, without even putting a single computing efforts, without putting any single computing efforts, we are hosting a website. So there we are not running any server. Okay, and when if I compare your S3 bucket and your server, so of course server is going to cost you more than your S3 bucket. Okay, so if you have something the static website means that there is nothing much complexity is involved, like one application depending on other. Okay, there's a lot of communications happening, APIs communication and all. Okay, if you don't have any application like that, it is simple website you have. Okay, displaying some information, and maybe even if in fact you have some communication happening with a database or something. Okay, so small things you can just implement with this way. And here we have got this URL. Okay, this URL you can configure with some DNS name, and that's how you can configure this S3 bucket. Okay, so this is something we have learned today. Okay, guys, so any of the questions you have here with respect to S3 bucket, like till the time whatever we have discussed from the start?
Amol, in case of EC2, if number of users are increasing, we can increase the number of EC2, we can give the target group and all we can do. But even if it is static website, if number of users are increasing, we can't do all these things in this S3 bucket, right?
No. Okay, so in EC2, you're absolutely correct here with respect to EC2, that when we have the number of users are accessing the website, so simplest thing what we do is, let's say behind the scene you have a load balancer. So let's say here you have a load balancer, here you have a EC2, here you have a EC2. Okay, so you keep adding your EC2 machines. So one application running here, application and application, right? So behind the scene, you can just increase this number of machines as number of the users are getting increased here. Okay, so that's what something you do it with the S3. I mean the EC2. Okay, how about S3? Okay, what will happen in that case? So behind the scene, infrastructure provisioning will be taken care by the AWS itself. Okay, like the same way here, you have you have the users connecting to this S3 bucket. So if your number of people accessing this particular the S3 bucket is getting increased, so that part will taken care by automatically by the AWS itself. So behind the scene, AWS also have some endpoint, like the endpoint here you see. Okay, the endpoint you see, so that must be provisioned by some the load balancer. Okay, so behind the scene, AWS is going to increase that infrastructure as per that. So it is like auto scaling is by default is enabled here, so you don't have to care about that. Okay,
Then why only, what is the reason we are only deploying static? Why not dynamic? What is the reason behind that, Amol?
Because here you don't get any options to configure the web servers. Okay, the way we get the options here on the EC2 machine. So on EC2, we have what? We have Apache running. Okay. Now in Apache, you can do a lot of stuff. Okay, you can set a proxy. You can, you can do something. Let's say you don't want to listen to website on a port 80. Okay, you want to listen on some other port. Okay, so you have so many options to configuration related options. You have that dynamic options. You get it. Okay, with respect to Apache, because that's what Apache do, right? Apache is a web server that is going to serve you the website. So when you have a complex website, dynamic website, okay, in such case, you have to do some custom configuration and you are allowed to do it on a web server. Same thing is not possible in S3 bucket. Okay, here you don't do any configuration. Okay, you just simply put a website and people are going to access it. So it's a very simplest model you have.
Okay, Amol.
Okay, yeah. Any other question, guys? Anything else? No questions? Okay, fine.
Amol,
Yeah.
small doubt. In while using Terraform, apart from keeping the code on VS Code, we moved we can move it to the S3 bucket, right? Uh,
No, we just move the state file. We don't move the
State file.
code. Yes, it's just a backend state file. We move it to the S3 bucket.
That is also one feature that is having S3 bucket. Like we can upload the media files website. We can also move the state file.
Yeah, so state file is nothing but it's a file. Okay, text file it is, right? So it's like
Okay, Amol.
having,
Okay.
yeah, the file which is having .tf extension, but it is inside that it is having text.
It will always, whenever we make changes, it will automatically upload to the S3 bucket, right? Whenever we're
Correct.
making changes in, yeah. Okay, Amol. Okay, got it, Amol.
Yes, correct. Yes. Okay. Fine then, guys. Okay, so for today we'll stop it here, and yeah, see you there in tomorrow's session. Have a good day, guys. Bye bye.